Chrysler introduced an all-new front-wheel drive mid-size sedan for 1995, adopting a more dramatic appearance and moving away from the boxy and outdated styling of the LeBaron sedan. Adopting features from the full-size LH sedans, such as the cab forward design, the new 1995 Chrysler Cirrus was spacious and roomy, while also being well equipped. The Chrysler Cirrus was an upscale member of the Cloud Cars, which also included the Dodge Stratus and Plymouth Breeze. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the 1995 to 2000 Chrysler Cirrus, a modern midsize sedan for the 90s that was competitive while also offering a bit of luxury and ultimately becoming the Motor Trend Magazine 1995 Car of the Year. So grab a Hostess iced latte, kick back, and let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Making its arrival for 1990, the LeBaron sedan was Chrysler's variant of the AA body, a variation of the Chrysler K platform, and the LeBaron sedan showed up at dealerships later than the other AA bodies, the Dodge Spirit and Plymouth Acclaim, which both debuted for 1989. A year after the LeBaron sedan's launch, engineers would begin working on a future successor, one that would be thoroughly modern, with more interior and cargo space. And the future successor would ditch the stale, boxy design of the 1980s for one that would be more curvy and in line with contemporary cars of the 90s. 1991. Design work for Chrysler's mid-range sedan was completed this year via Michael Santoro. Codenamed JA, the new cars would feature the corporate cab-forward design, which will be pioneered by the upcoming full-size LH cars, such as the Chrysler Concorde, just to name one. By 1992, the final design rendering moved on for production. Designed to be larger than their AA body predecessors, the JAs would measure 186 inches long and ride on a much longer wheelbase. 1994. The Chrysler Cirrus, along with its twin, the Dodge Stratus, stole the 1994 North American International Auto Show in Detroit. The design was outstanding, forward-thinking, and well-received. Not only did the Chrysler Cirrus look terrific, but it had the right stuff to go with it. Overall, the new JA cars were nothing short of a revolutionary change in the mid-size sedan segment. 1995 marked the initial model year for the Chrysler Cirrus. Over at Dodge dealerships, the Stratus also went on sale, and later on, the JA platform will also be utilized by a Plymouth model known as the Breeze. With their clever naming strategy, the entry model Breeze, the mid-range Stratus, and the higher-end Cirrus, these models would be dubbed the Cloud Cars. The new Chrysler sedan was leaps and bounds ahead of the K-based AA body LeBaron, and with the exception of the waterfall grille, not a single design cue from the boxy LeBaron sedan carried over to the Cirrus. Each Cirrus featured contoured bucket seats with a full-length center console and floor-mounted shifter. The same could be said for the other Cloud Cars as well. This was in an attempt to make the JA cars driver-oriented and even appeal to traditional Camry, Accord, and even Euro import buyers. That said, you could forget the bench seats or column-mounted shifters, which were found on the LeBaron. As far as trim levels, there was the nicely packaged LX and the more upscale LXi. Initially, the cars debuted with just one engine, a Mitsubishi-sourced 2.5-liter single overhead cam V6. The mill cranked out 168 horsepower, sending it to the front wheels. Dodges and Plymouths offered a 5-speed manual, but the sole transmission for the Chrysler Cirrus was a 4-speed automatic. Either way, if you chose the LX or LXi, you would be getting an exceptionally well-equipped vehicle regardless. With a lengthy 108-inch wheelbase, the Cirrus was 4.5 inches longer than the outgoing LeBaron sedan. Looking at a contemporary Honda Accord, the new Cirrus was a tad bit bigger. On the flip side, looking at a contemporary Ford Taurus, Chrysler's newest sedan offering was quite a bit smaller. This placed the Cirrus somewhere in the middle of the mid-size range. The Cirrus was unusually roomy, delivering an additional 1.4 inches of wheelbase and 2.1 inches greater overall length than the also new for 1995 Ford Contour. But buyers cross-shopping a Cirrus would more than likely cross-shop it with the Mercury Mystique rather than the Contour, although both cars from Ford were cramped on the inside. The new Cloud car was also a bit shorter than the Toyota Camry, mainly due to its short overhangs, but despite that, it had a lower and wider stance and about a 5-inch advantage in wheelbase. The long wheelbase and wide track were the key elements in Chrysler's cab forward design technique, which placed the wheels out towards the corners of the car. This minimized the engine compartment while yielding more space for passengers and cargo. The technique wasn't exactly exclusive to Chrysler. For instance, Honda used a similar technique for the NSX, which was undeniably effective. High rigidity for the chassis was yet another key element. The LH cars, such as the Concorde, set the standards for chassis rigidity, and Chrysler engineers claimed the Cirrus would be even better in that regard. A Cirrus with a dual-cam 4-cylinder engine arrived for 1996. This time, the engine was built by Chrysler and was massaged to crank out 150 horsepower. The 4-banger became standard in the LX, and the V6 was now optional. By 1997, however, the 4-cylinder engine was now standard in both LX and LXi, with the V6 now being an option. Fast forward to 1998, Chrysler dropped both the 4-cylinder engine as well as the LX trim level. So that meant in 1998, you could only get a Cirrus LXi with a V6. Enter the year 2000. This would be the end of the road for the Chrysler Cirrus. For its final season, the execs decided to bring back the 4-banger as well as the lower priced LX trim level to be sold alongside the V6 LXi. Over at Plymouth, that particular brand was being phased out, so the Breeze would not be getting a second generation either. Check out our 1996 Plymouth Breeze episode to learn more about that particular car as well. The only nameplate from the original Cloud cars that would survive would be the Stratus, which also spawned a coupe variant to fill in for the original Avenger. And although Chrysler had a new sedan for 2001, it was now known as the Sebring sedan. This particular Sebring model was also briefly sold in Mexico using the Cirrus nameplate. At the time of its 1994 unveiling, the design of the Cirrus by itself was quite dramatic and was nothing short of radical when compared to the upright, boxy, and super outdated AA body LeBaron, wire wheels, a padded vinyl roof, and opera windows on the Landau model, along with available loose pillow-style button-tufted seats, which were all the rave in the 1970s. The AA body LeBaron sedan was clearly stuck in the past. Once the CEO and chairman Lee Iacocca was gone, Chrysler designers and engineers had more freedom to toy with radical concept car inspired designs, new platforms, new engines, and an overall new way of producing vehicles. As a result, Chrysler's cars went from having some of the most dated, old school designs known to man to some of the most trendy and modern designs for the 90s. The 2001 Sebring sedan was just okay. I preferred the overall look and feel of the 95 to 2000 Cirrus. In my opinion, those were much better. And this is coming from someone that actually owned a Sebring of that era. I feel as though the early Cloud cars have aged gracefully and much better than their successors. Let us know if you owned or drove a 1995 to 2000 Chrysler Cirrus. As always, thanks for coming out to this show, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until next time, this is your host Rob, and thanks for tuning in to Antique Tags.